What would you do if you thought your rights were being violated during a traffic stop? KXAN's Amanda Brandeis spoke today with an expert and shows what you can and cannot do.
Few things will ruin your drive like red and blue lights in the rearview mirror.
I think that people are often confused about their rights based on what they've seen on TV. And I think many times officers take advantage of the fact that people don't know exactly what their rights are.
But if you find yourself in that situation, know you're protected by the Constitution.
When you get pulled over, you're required to show your license, registration, and proof of insurance. But if you're asked questions like, where are you going or have you been drinking, you're not obligated to answer.
The best way to deal with that is to be polite but firm. You know, officer, I understand you're doing your job, but I'd really rather not answer that.
In Sandra Bland's arrest, the situation escalated when the officer asked Bland to put out her cigarette.
The police officer may not have a constitutional right to ask you to put out a cigarette, but you're more likely to have a better evening if you do reasonable things like that.
Yelling at the officer or escalating the situation is not the thing to do. One, you simply ask the officer, I'm going to speak to your supervisor.
And officers do have the right to ask you to step out of the car. Case law says it's allowed if they have a, quote, reasonable fear.
There is a time and a place to fight back against a police officer who's breaking the law, and that's typically in a courtroom.
McGivern says it's smart to follow orders, but make it clear you're not doing them voluntarily and it's not consensual. Amanda Brandeis, KXAN News.
You also have the right to record an interaction with police, even if the officer doesn't like it. This issue has come to the forefront, especially since most people have a camera in their phone these days. In fact, in the Austin Police Policy Manual, an officer is not allowed to tell someone to stop recording or even question why they are recording. That changes if you cross police lines or if the officer thinks you are interfering with the investigation.